Good. I thought it was.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sister. How are you? Good to see you.
Alhamdulillah, how are you?
Alhamdulillah. Thank you for joining us. May Allah allow the angels to make dua with us, make istighfar until reaching heavens, inshallah.
I mean, that's Zina and I, by the way.
Oh, Zina. Hey, Zina. How are you? Welcome. I'm so happy. And you did great on the Ramadan challenge. MashaAllah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam, everybody. You guys are amazing. I thought it was funny because yesterday I was like, oh, it feels like summer. And then I realized we are in summer today too. Oh my God. And my air conditioning's like not really working in the car that I was driving today. But alhamdulillah, it's all good. It can let you be thankful for the good times. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so we're chipping away at these little spirituality points. May Allah bless this gathering, inshallah. Today, the topic that I was looking at is a topic that's a reminder for all of us. And that topic is called vanity and self-deception. So vanity, it is in it's in both books. We have Rising Soul, which is on page 93. So what is vanity? So vanity, and we hear about this word sometimes, but you know, we live in a world, subhanAllah, where I feel like this is day-to-day life. It's like breathing. You know, vanity is something which is almost the quality that people try to achieve nowadays. And here we're told that vanity is to be proud of your talents or personal characteristics, whether hereditary, physical, financial, or knowledge-based. This pride is paired with the inner feeling that these gifts came about through your own brilliance and hard work. I world, right? iPhone, selfie, it's all about I. There's different cultures, there's different times.
What's up?
And there's different, let me see if I can do something about, there we go. Yeah, sorry about that. So yes, there's different cultures in the world, there's different times, things change. When I was growing up, a few decades ago, it wasn't even that much about I. It was almost like you're not supposed to talk about yourself that much. Things have changed, and also if you go from culture to culture, if you study different cultures in the world, there are some cultures where it's more about the group and the family, and you don't focus on yourself. But we live in a time and a place where I think the whole world has changed, and now it's very, very normal to focus on the self and be very, very proud of every little thing. So, mashallah, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created all good things, all beauty, all talent, all skills. This is, you know, Allah himself is beautiful. He is the creator of beauty and goodness. Those are great things. The thing with vanity, the issue with vanity and why that's a spiritual disease that we have to be careful about is because when vanity, when you feel that you are the reason why you have that and you forget the piece about the source of the blessing and who gave you what you have. So when you feel so proud of something that you're not grateful and humble in front of Allah, you know, and you know, some things, you know, we have naturally, some things we have been given, some things we do work to earn, you know, there's all kinds of good things that we can have in life, right? But if you forget that Allah is the one who gave it to us, then what happens? Then we forget to be humble in front of Allah, we can get proud, we might commit sins, we may not use that thing in the right way. So every single thing that we have is like a test from Allah. And we don't want to get to where we have vanity about it, where we feel vain about it. That is where we don't want to be. We do want to be grateful to Allah for every good thing that we have. You know, we want to be grateful. We want to enjoy life in the right way by being humble, by acknowledging that we have that, acknowledging that God, you know, gave us that thing, even down to our food, right? We say that dua before we eat because you're about to enjoy this great meal. And in enjoying the great meal, you are acknowledging that it is Allah who gave you that meal, right? It is Allah who provided you that meal, who gave you the health to enjoy that meal and to eat that meal. You know, right now I have some visitors, like I have my grandmother who is close to 90 years old. And mashallah, like she's honestly like a millionaire in US dollars, but she cannot eat a normal meal. She has to drink these little, I should have showed you what it is. It's like a little Ensure bottle, and that's what she has to have. Or she has to have like some milk and rice and bananas. She has to have, these other kinds of things. She cannot enjoy the food on front of her, right? And so we, as Muslims, we have to be grateful for our health, for our blessings, for every single thing in our life, right? Vanity is when you think you earned what you have, right? And you forget to give the credit and the humility. You forget to give that credit to Allah. And so that is a description of what vanity is. You forget that Allah bestowed this ability or talent. And another thing about vanity is sometimes it makes a person feel that they are self-sufficient. And we know that as Muslims, we have to believe that we are always in need of Allah. It doesn't matter who we are. And this whole lockdown and the corona, it should remind us that even if you're the president, even if you're a millionaire, this corona can easily reach you, because none of us is a superpower, right? Nobody is beyond the power of Allah. Nobody is beyond the reach of Allah. And one thing I like about this topic is, even though this is a class that's particularly made for like youth girls, but I feel like so much of it is like a pure reminder to myself, because here we are in life and we're trying to just go about life, and every single step we can be reminded of these reminders, and so we always have to remember that every single thing we have, is a blessing. If it's a good thing, it's a blessing from Allah, that we don't forget that Allah could also take it away from us, that we're not so strong that we should feel independent and not needy of Allah, that we do need Allah, so we have to be humble in that. It says, on the other hand, and once again, I'm on page 93, those of you who are joining us, about vanity. It says, on the other hand, rejoicing in the talents, abilities, and qualities that Allah gave you and using them in the service of Allah is not vanity. Instead, that is confidence and self-assuredness that is based on gratefulness and trust in Allah, a necessary quality in a young Islamic worker's character. So it is good to acknowledge and use what you have. If you are very good in science or in medicine, or if there's a skill that you have, if you say, yes, alhamdulillah, Allah gave me this, now I'm going to use it in Allah's service. I'm going to go help some of my time will go for the underprivileged. Some of my time I'll make a mission trip, in the refugees area. Some of the time, or if you're a very good cook, if you know how to cook good, mashallah, you can save, you can maybe cook and share with people, go and feed, some unfortunate people, whatever it is. Say, yes, mashallah, Allah made me a very good cook, or made me a very good doctor, or did whatever, but I'm going to acknowledge Allah and be thankful and use it in His service. We use it in His service. Good morning, Asma. Just kidding. Okay. Also, in the Holy Quran, verse 32, just kidding, Asma woke up at Fajr and she did a lot of things outside, and she did a lot of things. She's just chilling a little bit. Okay. So Allah says in Surah 53, verse 32, those who avoid great sins and shameful deeds, only falling into small faults, verily your Lord is ample in forgiveness. He knows you well when He brings you out of the earth and when you are hidden in your mother's wombs. Therefore, do not attribute purity to your souls. He knows best who it is that guards against evil. Yes. So it's asking us to be humble. It says, if you avoid great sins and shameful deeds, and only you have, those regular, as human beings, we have like regular small sins that we might do, then Allah will forgive you. And He knows, He knows when He brings you out of the earth and when you are hidden in your mother's womb. So Allah knows everything about us. When we were weak, when we were in our mother's wombs, He knew us. He knows everything. And it says, do not attribute purity to your soul. So be humble. He knows best who is that guards against evil. Also, the Prophet ﷺ said, there are three things that destroy: greed, desire, and self-admiration. And we know that everything that the Prophet teaches us, subhanAllah, we really have to respect the Prophet. Everything that he teaches us is pure wisdom, pure guidance. It's truth. The things that he teaches us are truth, right? He does not, the Prophet ﷺ, he doesn't ever say something that is useless. Everything he says is very useful. He's the wisest. And he said that these three things will destroy you, right? Greed, desire, and self-admiration. And what will it destroy? Number one, we're focusing on spirituality. It will destroy your spirituality. You know, if you've ever gotten to know somebody who's greedy, that will destroy you. I mean, there are people out there who are greedy for things, and literally they might have so many good things, but then that greed like destroys things. It can destroy themselves, it can destroy relationships, it can destroy so many things. Small example, mashallah, I know everyone here is young. You see older people who there's like an inheritance issue, there's a land issue, there's buildings, there's this, you know, and they had a good relationship the whole lifetime, the 60, 70 years, they have a good relationship. And then suddenly there's an inheritance, and now there's an issue about who gets what part, you know, of the land, of the property. SubhanAllah, people get greedy, and then what happens? This lifetime relationship can get ruined, right? And that is ruining that person themselves, it's ruining relationships, it's ruining families. That's a small example of how greed can destroy you, right? Desire, we always have this coming up over and over, that desire is something, subhanAllah, if we understood the concept of desire, we would try to keep it in check. Because see, even a simple concept that we all go over every day, like the desire for food, right? If we realize the real essence of what food is something that should give us our nutrition, it should sustain us, it should benefit us, it should give us energy. That's good. So then we should desire the good things of food. But if you desire so much food that you don't, you know, you just keep desiring it and you're blind to like what it really is, and you're just endlessly desiring it, this could cause you bad health. It can cause you, you know, something that's going to be destructive to you, right? In the long run. So that's a very simple example, but that desire for anything, we have to kind of keep it in check, and that helps our spirituality, as well as self-admiration. Okay, what is self-admiration? That's part of vanity once again. Self-admiration is when instead of saying Allahu Akbar and giving the credit to Allah, that Allah is greatest, instead we turn and we give that credit to ourselves completely. It's okay to give yourself some credit in a healthy way, like, oh, I studied for that test and I did great, or I worked really hard and now my room is really organized and clean, or, you know, whatever, like the garage is clean now, I worked hard, I'm proud of that. Those are good things, but then keeping it into perspective. That's what spirituality is all about, keeping everything into perspective. And then in this book on page 94 at the bottom, it says, yes, the vain person believes that she has already made it and thus does not feel the humility and eagerness that will help her race to improve himself. So another quality about a true Muslim, a good Muslim, is that they're always trying to improve themselves. They never feel complacent. They never feel like, I've made it, you know, I'm it, I am the it, everybody needs to follow me. A true Muslim is always kind of self-reflective and self-accountable, and always tries to find out how they can improve their own self, right? And so the vain person feels like, you know, I'm the bomb, you know, I'm it, right? And then they don't have the humility. They haven't left the humility that they need. They haven't left space for that in their ego and in their spirituality to what? To keep improving themselves and realize that, no, we always need to keep working on ourselves. It says in this book at the bottom of the page also, how can we go about curing this fault of vanity? Well, number one, learn about the dangers of vanity, which is what we're doing. And also read, listen, and study this disease of the heart until you're fully convinced that it is a destructive quality that must be dispelled. Know and internalize the belief that all talents, personal qualities, and abilities are from Allah, and that He is fully capable of taking them away. That's another thing, is that if Allah gave it to us in the first place, Allah can take it away as well, right? And so maybe we have like the best job in the world, right? And then something happens and our job is gone, we're laid off. You know, something like that can happen to us. A house, you know, we think that, you know, we have the best house in the whole community. Everyone's looking at our house. Something happens and you lose your house. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter, whatever it is, but realize that we have to always have that bit of a fear of Allah, that anything, you know, we might have something now, but it is Allah who really has the power and can remove that anytime. At the bottom of page 95, it says, knowledge must pair with action in order to be effective in defeating vanity. Remind yourself constantly of the blessings of Allah and the abilities that He gave you. What would you be without Him? Remind yourself that all of your blessings are yours only through His beneficence and not through your own ingenuity. You can preserve those blessings by constantly showing gratitude and using those abilities in the service of Allah, right? So how many stories are in the Quran about somebody who had a blessing and they had vanity and pride about it, like the story of the two gardens in Surah Al-Kahf, right? That person, there was two people who got gardens. One of them was properly had that humility and that gratefulness and that right place, where they acknowledged Allah. And the other one, had vanity and pride and arrogance. They kind of thought it was themselves that gets credit. And we, this quality, we have to check that within ourselves, right? And we can notice it sometimes in others that, this person thinks they have this, great thing, and they think it's all because of themselves. And then that person ended up losing their garden, right? Because, as a result of their arrogance. If we look on the next page, yes, another point at the beginning of page 96 is realizing that there's others who are better than you, okay? So no matter what you have in this dunya, there's somebody who has more, who is better, okay? So if you think you're the most beautiful person, there's somebody who's probably, better than you. If you think you're the smartest person, the richest person, you have the nicest house, you go somewhere else and you'll find out there is somebody who has better than you. So this is something that we can remember to remind ourselves. Also in this same chapter is the concept of self-deception. So another Kahoot question is ghurur. Ghurur literally means illusion or self-deception. It is when somebody has a false sense of security, okay? And sometimes, really, once again, we have that humility as a Muslim, but sometimes, people can get this false sense of security, and I know it's easier to catch it in other people than ourselves, but, hopefully as we catch it and we notice it in other people, we can also turn around and try to find that within ourselves as well. That when someone has this false sense of security, and I know that we've come across people in our life where we're like, wow, this person really thinks that they're all that. They really think that they are something, and what did they do? They're not any better than someone else, but that person who has like this false sense of security, they have this disease of the heart as well called ghurur. Okay. And this same topic is also addressed in the other book. So here, that is what it says about this topic here in Rising Soul. We also have the Hamza Yusuf PDF, which addresses this topic as well. So if we turn to page 62 in the Hamza Yusuf version, there is a section about vanity as well. And here, Hamza Yusuf says, the next disease of the heart is vanity, known in Arabic as ujub, which is related to arrogance. And that is a Kahoot question. I'm going to ask you, what is ujub? So Imam Ghazali, which is one of the very famous and well-known imams, he holds that arrogance requires two people for its outward manifestation, the arrogant one and the one to whom the arrogance is shown. But the possessor of vanity does not need a second person. He is impressed with himself and he admires his talents, possessions, looks, and status. He considers himself better than others. He exults, for example, when looking at himself in the mirror or gazing upon his accomplishments or property. Imam Maudud says ujub is a nefarious kind of vanity in which a person rejoices in the blessings but forgot what? The source of the blessings. So is it wrong to have wealth or beauty or status? There's no sin in that. And that is another Kahoot question. There's nothing wrong with having good things. The wrong part is when you don't acknowledge that it is Allah who gave you those things, and also forgetting to use them in the right way that pleases Allah, right? And of course we can't use it for haram, and of course we can't, but we should use it in the service of Allah, okay? So that is the key. And then if we look on the second paragraph, once again, page 62 of Hamza Yusuf, it says, a calligrapher, for example, makes his craft appear easy to the onlooker, but one doesn't see the years of tireless preparation, perseverance, and repetition to master the curves of one letter of the Arabic alphabet and then the whole word. It says that undoubtedly this invites the illness of the heart, for it's God who is the bestower of success and talent. So, as we are growing up in this age of, middle school, we always need to make this habit within ourselves to keep acknowledging that Allah is the giver and the bestower of talent. It says on the next paragraph, in reality, God is the creator of the marvels that people admire and the attribute to the glory of humankind. forgetting that it is God who created the ones who produced these marvels. Realizing that God is the source of all blessings prevents vanity from entering the heart. So if we say something like, MashaAllah, you know, we see something beautiful, MashaAllah, that is so beautiful, right? So if you like, I remember, you know, if you visit these beautiful sites, you know, the Alhambra and all these beautiful, you know, places that we might go, you see something beautiful and you're really impressed with those Muslims that did these great things. They like made this beautiful artwork all over, you know, say, MashaAllah, it is Allah who gave these talents to these amazing people, you know, and just reminding ourselves of Allah and giving credit. It says on the next paragraph at the bottom of page 62, above all those who have knowledge is the all-knowing, and that is God. So that's from Surah 12, verse 76. The next one is a Kahoot question. Musa alayhi salam was once asked if he was the most knowledgeable of the people, and he answered yes. Musa alayhi salam was then told that there's a man who had knowledge, who had more knowledge than, who had knowledge that Musa did not have. This man was Khidr, who was not a prophet, but Musa alayhi salam, without a trace of vanity, became his student, right? So this is, this story is told in Surah Al-Kahf. So when I ask you in the Kahoot, who had more knowledge than Musa alayhi salam, you're gonna know that the answer is Khidr, right? Next, another Kahoot question. Vanity comes from the Latin word vanus, which means empty, implying that the source of our vanity is a void of substance and it will vanish. So even in the English language, a lot of times you have a connotation to a word, right? A connotation means the feeling that comes with that word. The denotation is the actual meaning of that word. So the connotation, when we think of a vain person or a vanity person who has vanity, we do kind of think of a pretty empty person, right? We think of somebody who doesn't have a lot of depth or substance, and that's true. And here it's associating that emptiness with not really acknowledging the truth of Allah and not giving the credit to Allah. A couple of paragraphs down on that page 63, it says, there is a foolishness in being vain about what one has accomplished given its ephemeral nature. But when one is thankful to God and acknowledges and praises Him as the source of this goodness, then the accomplishment outlasts our earthly lives and the memories of people, for God preserves it. Have you ever, or you may at some point, come across like some virtue or good thing that someone has, and this thing goes so far even after their lifetimes, like it's like this quality, this blessing, it just goes on, and sometimes it's because that person had a real sincerity with their Lord about that blessing. You know, maybe they did not have vanity about it, they had this true pure gratitude about it, and they were really doing, you know, their life the right way. And then you'll see that even that person is gone, and yet that thing keeps going on and on. That's in the memories. It says in our memories of people, right? God preserves that thing. It outlasts our earthly life. That's what it says. And next paragraph, it does say that for if we do not humble ourselves, Allah will humble us. And this is something that we went over in the last book as well, that if we are not humble about something, anytime Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can humble us for us. It says, when the Prophet ﷺ saw a reflection of himself and he was a beautiful man, he would make the following dua. O Allah, as you have made my countenance most excellent, make my character most excellent. Okay, so when the Prophet would see himself in the mirror, what he would say is, so, you know, when this is a good practice, a sunnah to do, like if you look in the mirror and you say, alhamdulillah, you know, Allah, you have made my countenance. Countenance means face or wajh. It's like, it just means like your appearance. And he would say, the same way that you made my outside appearance beautiful, make my inside beautiful, make my character beautiful, right? So he had like this balanced view of the importance of being beautiful on the inside with our character, with our behavior, right? It's not enough to have that external beauty. And in this world that we live in, there's so much focus. There's like a hyper focus on the external physical beauty. Beauty, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who created all beauty. But at the same time, we have to be balanced and focused, introspective, and focus on that inner beauty, which comes from our attitudes, our beliefs, our behaviors, our humility. That's where that spirituality is, right? That's where we humble ourselves, and that's where our character is, right? Our habits, our choices, which come from our values. And those have to be deeply rooted in the right things, right? And let's see if there's anything else in that section. No. Okay, so that whole section is done. So we actually have time to hop over to our Kahoot game, inshallah. So let me turn that on. Bismillah. Everybody can switch over to Kahoot. I'm going to share my screen. All right. So I hope you can see my screen, and we have gone through all of these, I think. So the Kahoot pin is 9010303. 9010303. So some takeaway messages that we all can learn from, and I tell myself first, you know, these are like reminders for ourselves. The number one, you know, yes, enjoy all the beautiful things of God, but to remember him and to be grateful and to acknowledge him and to keep, you know, to keep acknowledging him and using it for his sake and using it in halal ways, right? You have a great business. Let's not sell haram things in there, right? Let's use it in halal ways. Anything that you have, right? If you have energy, you know, use it in halal ways. If you have creativity, use it in halal ways. And so right now, I have 7 people who have joined out of 18. 9010303. And I ask Allah to accept from us and, you know, use these reminders as a way to guide us and benefit us, inshallah, and that Allah can remove all of the impurities within us that we know about and that we don't know about. We're up to 10 players. Anybody else going to join us? Let's get a couple of more people.
4,
So it's 9010303.
2, 1.
Okay, let's start. So the first question is 1 of 7. It says, vanity is having something good and not what? Showing it off on social media, giving credit to God, putting your name all over it, or cloning yourself and selling it. Vanity is having what? Very good. Vanity is having something good and not giving credit to God. Okay, that is what vanity is. Part of what vanity is. You guys are doing good. Number 2, who was more knowledgeable than Musa alayhi salam? Who was more knowledgeable? Shaitan, Harun, Khidr, or Fir'aun? Who was more knowledgeable than Musa alayhi salam? Khidr, exactly. I know that we all, alhamdulillah, know that 9 of you got that right. Excellent. MashaAllah. Next, number 3, the Arabic word ujub means what? Heedlessness, hunger, treachery, or vanity. What does the Arabic word ujub mean? Awesome. 10 of you got that, inshallah. Asma, did you get that one? Yeah? All right, good. Next. Let's see, you guys are doing great, mashallah. Okay, this is a dua. Oh God, you have made my countenance excellent, so make my what excellent? Financial status, character, exam score, or reputation. It says, oh God, you have made my countenance excellent, so make what excellent? What did the Prophet ask for? He asked to make his character excellent. Very, very good. What a beautiful example in him. Good job, Rayan, Maliha, Aisha, Hasbi, Lana, and I know more of you are doing great too. Number 5, having a good thing such as beauty or wealth is a sin. Is that true or false? Having a good thing like beauty or wealth is a sin. That is false. All of you guys got that right. Sweeping victory, mashallah. Okay, and number 6, the word vanity comes from a Latin word vanus, which means what? Full, strong, empty, or flimsy. What does vanus mean in Latin? The root word. Empty, exactly. So vanity, we were talking about the emptiness from the Hamza Yusuf book. You guys are doing great. Then we have Aisha and everyone. Okay, so number 7, ghurur means what? We touched on this. When someone has hunger, self-deception, or a false sense of security, anger, or hatred. What is ghurur? It's also a disease of the heart. Self-deception or false sense of security. Exactly. You guys did amazing, mashallah. Let's look at all of our superstar winners, mashallah. We have Rayan, who got 6 out of 7. We also got Maliha, mashallah. Also, we have Aisha Syed. Who else? Noor and Hasbi. Okay, I've got to see all of y'all. Hold on. Is it possible? Is it possible? How do you do that? It's not giving me that choice. Well played. Okay, I don't know the screen. Back to the podium. Is there any way? Oh, okay, now it's doing it again. Okay, never mind. Rayan, okay, sorry. I didn't mean to do again. Let me just stop the share. Okay, leave. All right, that's okay. All right, everybody, let's do a quick dua. It is such a blessing to be with y'all for this part of the day. Inshallah, may Allah bless everybody here and guide and benefit everyone, forgive everyone, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. Inshallah, we'll see you here tomorrow, same time and same place. Have a great day, everybody. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.